Does the Florida shooting story reflect poorly on responsible gun owners? Kevin Starrett of the Oregon Firearms Federation joins the Mark and Dave Show. Mr. Director, thanks for being on with Mark and Dave. So let's ask you, is Zimmerman bad for gun owners?
Well, I got to tell you, it's amazing how much correspondence I'm suddenly dealing with on this. But you know what? None of us knows what happened there. I've looked at the police report. I don't really get much from it. I've listened to a number of stories, but I simply have no idea what took place there. And it's really dangerous to kind of speculate on this stuff. On the one hand, I would say it's not wise to continue a pursuit when you've got police on the way and that. On the other hand, I haven't seen anything that totally damns the guy, and I don't know what happened. So, I'd be happy to talk to you about hypotheticals, but I don't know what the guy did. I don't know what this young man who got killed did. I just don't know. And looking at it, I've looked at the Florida statute. I think it's very reasonable. I've looked at the police report, as I said, and it doesn't tell me anything. So, none of us know what happened there, and I don't know when we will.
Fair enough, but what we do know is today, a lot of people are speculating this is race. A lot of people say this is a vigilante. A lot of people say this is gun owners run amok. And the big review is the stand your ground law. And if maybe these don't need to be reined in, and as one example that we've had on the show here is gang members have used that law successfully to be found not guilty of killing other gang members.
Okay, and this, unfortunately though, Dave, this sounds to me like Ginny Burdick's famous report that 1,200 license holders were felons. And when you actually read the report, it's totally bogus. She made it up. She's lying, okay? Now, you're saying that gang members have used this. I've seen Florida senators on TV saying that. I'd like to see an instance of that. I'm not going to accept that it's true just because someone else said it. Burdick gets up on the Senate floor and says, we have this report. The Oregonian regurgitates it like it's true, and it's not true. It's simply not true. If that's the case, show me the instance.
Okay, let's say that a law that says, because I am a believer, believe it or not, Kevin, that if somebody's coming into your home or into your automobile, which is the tried and true standard that we've used forever, you have a right to defend yourself and use lethal force if you have to. I believe in that. But this law says that if you feel threatened anywhere, anytime, you have a right to use lethal force. Is that fair?
Dave, have you looked at the actual language of the statute?
I have looked at the law, and I've looked at many analysis of the law. What am I missing?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know what analysis you saw. I'm sitting in front of me is the actual statute, and I think it's extremely reasonable. I don't think it's a license to kill. I don't think it does anything to encourage people. It simply says this, that if you are being placed in a situation where you fear for your life, you can respond with force, and you are not required to run away. That's all it says. And if it's misapplied, then that should be fixed. If it's being handled poorly, and I don't know that it is, but, all this talk about gang members using it, show me the situations where that's true. Don't just tell me it happened because you heard Chris Matthews say.
All right. In this case, Kevin, the shooter is on the phone with 911, and he's talking about how he's pursuing this guy, and the 911 operator says, "We don't want you to do that." Ultimately, it results in a shot and somebody's dead.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm a libertarian. I believe you have a right to lead your life unmolested. As far as we know, this young man who died was committing no crime. He was in a place he was lawfully entitled to be. I don't think that a person under those circumstances should be killed. It's a horrible thing. I'm never going to defend that. What I'm saying is that any one of us in reviewing this specific case are kind of doing it blind. I will tell you, I've seen plenty of police reports that were flat out untrue. I've seen plenty of news reports that were totally inaccurate. I don't know what's happening here. I don't believe that there was any reason that this teenage guy should be dead. I think it's wrong. I think that the guy, if he was concerned about the safety of his neighborhood, was doing the right thing and following this person and talking to the police, that the police said, we're on our way, stand down. I think that's what he should have done. But that's me, 4,000 miles away, not knowing.
Sure.
The other thing that I don't know that any of us know, and maybe you guys do, but I don't know how big this guy was. I mean, the kid who was killed. All the pictures I've seen are when he's about 12 or so. I don't know how big the shooter was. I don't know. I know that apparently there was a scuffle. There was a fight. Who initiated it? I simply have no way of knowing. I don't want to see anybody put in a position where they're shot because they're doing something that's entirely legal. But what's really what the question here really is a stand your ground law reasonable? And, coming from New York where someone broke into your house, you literally had to climb out the window to escape them. I think it is reasonable that a person have the lawful right to protect themselves.
All right, Kevin Starrett, director of the Oregon Firearms Federation. We're out of time, but we always love it when you agree to come on the show.